So this is take two from the live. I don't even know if I'm really live. So yeah, it looks like it's working this time. So this is take two from my live because I got caught in the middle of the other one. So I just wanted to share a bit of news. So I will be hosting this live in this group every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. That will allow people from overseas and people from the Pacific Coast to be able to join. And there will be a lot of great content. Evidently, it's also a ask me anything kind of live. So I welcome the questions. The more the merrier. I would be happy to answer. Because this is kind of an impromptu live. I don't expect anybody to show up. I just wanted to share some extraordinary great news. A lot of things happened this week, so I'm kind of very excited. So I have a publisher called Ediwit. Ediwit is from First Editions, and First Editions are the big, huge corporation that has all the rights to all the For Dummies publications throughout the world. So it's one of the, I think today it is probably number one publisher in the world, first because of those For Dummies. Don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure. 5 years ago in 2016, they published For Dummies that I wrote, The Law of Attraction for Dummies, that was in French. I write in French and English, so I got a lot of books published in the French language. And the great news is that I found out that my book sold over 20,000 copies um, over the years, which is kind of great because when you are over 8,000 copies, you starts becoming a decent book. People kind of, it means it made a dent in the market. We always think that books will sell millions of copies, but it's not the case. Very rarely is it the case. But 20,000 copies start to be really, really remarkable. In the US and in France, even more because the competition is harsh and not as many people as in the US. As you can understand, there's, I think, a fifth, 60 million compared to 330 million. So very, very exciting. That was one good news. The second good news is that they contacted me to have another book with them. That would be my third book published with them, and my 42nd book that I would write. So it's kind of cool. Also, the Law of Attraction, they're starting a new series, and they want my book to be part of it. So they're already giving me an advance for it. And also, what is kind of interesting is the advance is 7 times the advance that I had for my first published book 8 years ago. So it's kind of also seemingly growing with time, which is kind of really awesome. And they've even increased the percentage I was going to get from the book. So publishers don't give much percentage. It's more an ego trip to be published by a publisher. It's not that way that you make a lot of money. But it's a great news because I dreamt a long time ago, actually not such a long time ago, maybe 10 years ago. I dreamt of the day because nobody wanted to publish my book. So I dreamt of the day that one day I would have publishers come to me to ask me for book titles instead of me having to beg publishers to publish me. So it's kind of a nice reversal of roles where publishers come to you and ask you, please, do you want to write that title for me? We're ready to give you this amount of money. So it's always kind of nice. Plus, a book it gives you this ongoing passive income, right, with royalties. So every year you earn a check, money comes in. And that brings me to my other good news that happened also earlier this week that was kind of amazing. I got an email from another publisher that published about a dozen titles, some of which were translated in 6 or 7 languages. But the good news is that that publisher contacted me saying, well, we just wanted to inform you that the 5 titles that you have with this company in German, the company in Germany had a lot of problems, almost hit rock bottom, almost went bankrupt, but now they're back. They're rocking the house. They're doing great. And so you will be paid um, backwards everything that they owed you. First of all, I didn't even know that I had 5 titles that were translated in Germany in German. So that was the first news that I found kind of incredible. So I was floored when I read that. And then I didn't even know that I hadn't been paid for those 5 titles in German. So it kind of brings me another check out of the blue for those years that this publisher was in trouble and now was able to pay everybody back from the time that they stopped paying the writers. Uh, and so it's kind of a lot of good news all at once. It was kind of cool. So getting a 42nd book, having a an advance that's much, much higher than I ever had from a publisher. That's also nice. Knowing that one of my books was sold 20,000 copies is quite a success. It's quite remarkable. And so they're thrilled to work with me again. And this dream that I had of having publishers come to me and ask me to write for them, it was something I really always wanted, especially since it was so hard to get my first book published. And I was begging agents and I was begging publishers to publish me. Nobody wanted to hear about me. And now roles are reversed and they come to me to ask me for more work, which is fantastic. So the world of writing is can be quite a roller coaster, and I've learned a lot in the last 8 years. It's only been 8 years, believe it or not, since all these books have been published, and 8 years to get 5 international bestsellers, to have some books really hit very high. I had a book that was number top seller from my entire publisher's selection of books, which is quite astonishing. So I did learn a lot. And I was one of those that dreamt at first to make $1 million with my books. And I did, but not the way people would think, because everybody thinks, oh, I'll just write a book, and as soon as it comes out, it'll become this huge bestseller, and I'll make $1 million, and I'll have all these royalties, and I'll be rich and famous. And yes, it happens, but it's rare, and that's not the way to look at a book. And also, people take way too much time to write a book. So I know one person in particular that once told me that I don't know how many times they had rewritten their book, but they were working on it for 7 years. 7 years is almost for me 40 books that I wrote and published. So I took an advice when I started in the business from an international best-selling author, a millionaire, a real estate investor, and he gave me this advice that I took with me, and it paid a lot of dividends. One advice can change your life, and his advice was like this: Slavika, I write my books fast, real fast. If I can write a book in 6 weeks, 4 weeks, that's I'm going to write it as fast as I can for two reasons. If it doesn't become a bestseller, if it doesn't become top in the market, well, I only spent 4 to 6, 8 weeks maximum writing it. So I didn't lose that much time. And if it becomes a super top seller worldwide, well, great. I hit jackpot with investing very little time. So that is kind of what I want to share and what I want to inspire people to understand is that way too many people waste way too much time into something, trying to perfect something that they don't even know if it's going to be a home run or not. And truth be told, I know ways, and that's what I want to teach you. I know ways to make a book successful, but the book is not the end. The end is having a successful business out of the book. So using that book as leverage to make more money in the business. So the book, what the $10, $20 the book is going to bring, that's not where you're going to make your millions. Your millions you make because the book was published with the secondary, um, all the secondary upsells or consulting or expertise that you'll be hired for that then create those millions of dollars. So that's kind of what I want to bring is that I feel people invest too much time and energy into a product that is not the end result, but they don't know if it's going to really work or not because they didn't really strategize on how they're going to make it work. I know a lot of people that tell me, oh, yeah, I did write a book already. And I'm like, wow, that's so cool. Please, where is it? And they show me this link on Amazon, and there's like three, it sold like 3 copies, and it's number 5 million, whatever, on Amazon, or X gazillion number on Amazon, which means the number on Amazon, what it means is how many books have sold before yours. So the lower the number, the better it is. But when your number 1,900,000, whatever, it means that your book didn't sell really well, or they have like 2 stars or 1 star. Some of my books do have 1 star, but I wrote 41. So yes, some books have sold less, some have sold extraordinarily well. But where I made my money and where I made a lot of money was utilizing the books to be able to upsell other service, other products. And that's what I want to teach you, how to maximize that. So great news this week. I hope it just goes on. I'm so excited. It's for me, it's like super nice. They asked me to write this book. It's 160 pages that I will write. They asked before July, the end of July. So if I start it in May, I should be good. I had the one that sold 20,000 copies, which is the Law of Attraction for Dummy, which was more around 450 pages. I wrote in 6 weeks. So I'm calculating that I can write this one in 2, 3 weeks tops, 4 weeks. If I put myself full time in it, or I commit a lot of hours to it. And what I want to do is I want to find a way to record my process and share that process within the coaching group. That leads me to another point that I want to make is I have something extraordinary, fabulous with you to share very soon. And I can't wait to share it with you. It's gonna rock your world. I know that because it's something that's one of a kind, and I know nobody else has done it yet. So hold on to your seats. If you want to have a pre-taste or you want to know a little more, write "I want to know" in the comments below, and we'll reach out to tell you just a little bit behind the scenes of what it is. But I will also, I'm going to find a way to record my process while I'm writing this book, since I have to write it. And I had that intention anyway to write, to kind of write something and have the process kind of filmed so that you see how the whole thing happens when I do it, and maybe be inspired by it, like a live reality kind of show of behind the scenes of a writer. It's kind of cool, right? So I'm going to share that and this amazing news very shortly. So if you have questions, please write them in the comments. And I love answering as many questions as I can. And of course, in any business topic, it makes me super happy. And if you want to have a taste of what's coming, the big surprise, also write it in the comments and we'll reach out to you and give you just a little taste, a little snippet, a little bit of it. But in any case, so from now on, my lives will happen during the day. So at 12 p.m. Eastern time every Wednesday. And I will share, I hope, expertise, but it's more like an ask me anything kind of live where you can come with your questions and really ask me about my extensive experience writing, using my books to grow businesses, and also teaching others. I've helped a lot of people write their books, build their business around their books, and I'm a skilling expert. So my core expertise is really to scale businesses and to make millionaires. That's what I like doing, and that's what I'm really good at. So, so there is a question. So thank you, and Guni Grace. I have recently published a book. What's the best way to market it? So it's a great question. The marketing of a book should happen um, while you're writing the book, because that's how you build kind of an audience to market your book. Now it depends really the audience that you're trying to reach with your book, and it depends what the book subject or the what it is about, who it's aiming to reach. And that's why I feel that a lot of people are mistaken is they start by writing a book not necessarily knowing what the end result is. What do they want to achieve with that book? So writing a book by itself is not necessarily the best way to do things. It's better to reverse engineer things and know who you're writing your book for, and then that will be easier then to market and know how to reach your audience. But most importantly, what to do with your book in terms of in creating more sales in your business using your book. So that is really one thing that is more important than marketing your book. I don't know if you, before you wrote your book, if you did a market analysis, if you compared a competition to your book. All of those ingredients are super important before even starting to write a book. Analyzing the titles that are relevant, that are competing. So all of those questions are, very, very important. So what I would ask you is first to study how you can utilize that book to increase your sales, which I believe is more important than just selling more of your book. But if you want to market your book, well, there's so many strategies to implement. One of them is just, buying Amazon ads. Another is trying to find a publisher, which can be difficult if you don't have a platform. So a third one might be to create a platform so that you can sell your book more to more people. So I hope that answers, that gives you a little bit of insight, and helps you direct you in some direction. And that being said, I thank you very much for being present in this live, and I welcome more questions even when the live is over, in the comments, of course, and we can get on the call and help you get to the next level of success, creating maybe a consulting business around your book, which would be the next step. The next natural step would be to have a consulting business that grows because of your book. So I hope this helps, and thank you for being there. And still, you can do a lot with your book. But I want to give an example, and it's probably not you, but I just feel like it's right to give this example. I met someone once, and he told me this. He said, Slavika, I don't understand. My book is not selling. And it's probably because the Spanish don't read. And I was like, what? What does that mean? What does that even mean? So it's like, why are you saying that? I said, the Spanish don't read because my book is not selling. So I said, I assume your book is in Spanish. He says, yeah, 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 yeah. My book is in Spanish. It's for the Spanish people. I said, okay, fantastic. What is the subject of your book? And he said, it's the history of the African Revolution. And I said, well, did you even research if Spanish speaking people are even interested in the African Revolution? Maybe you should have written it in English and reach more people. So it's important to first find out about your market and who is interested in your subject before starting to write the book. But since you have a book, if you want, we can get on a call and see how you can help, create a business around it. That would be, a step. I'll have someone reach out and set up a call, and we can see if we can help you with that. All right. And in the meantime, have a great rest of your day, rest of your evening, and we will see you all very soon. Bye.